with my son when he was killed. Not one of them has reached out to tell me how sorry they are. None of them have helped do anything, show any remorse.
Now she's demanding justice in the case of her son. Justice, she worries, will be coming soon.
Naturally, Julio would later take to IG Live to say that he was smoking for Rollo.
Rollo! Oh, you all not the hundred now? Rollo got the Rollo, man. I got Rollo on the deal. Nigga rolling out the Rollo.
Of course, in reference to this incident, Julio would later end his life. This song, When I See You, a terrifying lyric, Rollo died with his peak, speaking on Bibby, an apparent reference to the rumor that Rollo even had a gun on him at the time he was killed. However, the celebrations from the PTA side of the beef would not last for long, and only 2 months after the Rollo hit, PTA would suffer a devastating loss of their own. On the 7th of May 2019, Julio's close friend and collaborator, 19-year-old Tiki, or Keith Shorts, was shot in a tan SUV at the 5900 block of Christabel Avenue, just north of the Tiki's passing wasn't announced nearly a month after the incident. However, if you wanted to know the news early, you would only have to go and have a look at Peter's social media, where he appeared holding an assault rifle with in the months following Tiki's slaying, countless disses against him made their way into 18K's music, dissing the fallen pop and saying they're smoking. Of course, Tiki was one of those names along with Billy, who was famously disrespected of Who I Smoke. Thing is, though, around this time, the 18K shooters were very active, and it wasn't just their enemies being targeted, it was the families of their enemies too. Also in May 2019, KTA shooters attempted to silence the sister of Zion Brown. Well, this going down on the 2-year anniversary of the Zion assassination. Remember at the start of this story when Zion Brown's shooter was identified as Trey Shorty by Brown's 16-year-old sister who was also hit? Well, she had actually made a pretty brave post on Facebook calling out Trey Shorty as the shooter and saying that the police are refusing to help them. Well, in a hit apparently ordered from jail by Zion's killer himself in an attempt to silence Zion's sister when speaking out publicly and testifying at trial, she was shot 14 times.
McFadden says in retaliation to her son's murder 2 years ago, her daughter was shot 14 times in May. She believes her daughter was targeted.
He was murdered by someone from their gang, and that person was sending messages from the jail threatening that if my daughter goes to trial, that he would get somebody to kill her.
Now, the young lady fortunately survived this assassination attempt, and 80K white Beezy, real name Caleb Sheffield, ends up getting arrested for this shooting. But in a shock twist, only 18 days after he's arrested, charges are dropped after he provides an airtight alibi and video footage proving that he was in Orlando at the time of the shooting.
17-year-old Caleb Sheffield is set free 18 days after he was booked into Duval County Jail on 4 counts of attempted murder. Sources tell News4Jax a video proves Sheffield was in Orlando at the time of the shooting.
So he's not the shooter, then that means the real one is still out there.
Now, just when you thought this beach couldn't get more dark, do you remember a young man by the name of Corbin who went missing about a year earlier? Well, in July 2019, Corbin is found under tragic circumstances. According to police, his skeletal remains were found in a wooded area in northwest Jacksonville.
Corbin Johnson's family reported him missing July 13th, 2018. The 18-year-old disappeared not long after a job interview. Now, 1 year later, his case is being investigated as a murder.
Corbin Johnson was last seen alive in July of last year. Then last Friday, a man discovered the victim's skeletal remains in a wooded area of northwest Jacksonville off Hutsey Road.
Sky 4 flew over the scene as police investigated. You can see multiple yellow evidence markers and a dog sniffing around the wooded area.
Now, the loss of Corbin is why some 80K users ran S4C, or Spaz for Corbin, and Julio would later speak on what happened to Corbin in a pretty disrespectful tone, saying what happened to Corbin is his worst fear.
This is my worst fear, bro. If you go on News4Jax, bro, the nigga Corbin real deal got the kid now. Like, I know he got abducted. Do you know how much sense that make? Because when you grown, you get abducted. You don't get killed now. Like, try to say, that man got abducted for real. Like, that's my worst fear. Nigga kidnapping me. I swear to God, bro. Like, I swear to God, on the news they said that man bones got found. Like, that man bones got found. Just bones. I swear to God. They said a nigga was on the line and ran over that man bones. I swear to God, I ain't making this shit up. No cap. You gonna News4Jax right now. They was going around and found that man bones. I swear to God, no cap. Why I'm down for nigga kidnapping, but down for the kick, scream, and holler. Bite tab, pinch tab, I'm gonna do whatever, man. They getting kidnapped with this, bro. That nigga Corbin got kidnapped. Real glad none of my niggas getting kidnapped, bro. Real shit, bro.
Now, with that kind of energy floating around, then it's no surprise that there was some heavy disrespect incoming from the other side. And in September 2019, Queso would make the news. But this time, not for a grisly crime, but instead getting inducted into the Self-Snitching Hall of Fame by attempting to release a music project with this cover. Yes, Queso took to Instagram to announce the pending release of his new project titled Baby Out, that came along with a front cover that depicts Queso and ATKYBZ quite literally smoking the dead ops. With these people all being pictured and named as Dirk, Bonte, Zion Brown, Bibby, and Trey D, all close friends of Fulvio's who have lost their lives. But really, it's Bibby who is the centerpiece, and let's not forget people. Queso, who's literally sat in jail right now, charged with murder. I've got to say, this is probably the first time in rap history that the front cover of a project has been so disrespectful it has literally meant the news. Because this cover caused an enormous uproar in the Jacksonville community, and I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this front cover itself quite literally didn't play a significant role in the investigation against Queso for Big's murder.
Controversial rap album cover is making its way around social media. The cover shows pictures of men who have been murdered in Jacksonville. Local rapper Queso posted the picture to Instagram.
The caption on the post says, "Y'all DM ATKYBZ and tell him to drop dead and I'ma drop it tonight." This album cover, a local rapper named Queso posted on Instagram Monday, is frustrating for parents like Bonetta McFadden. Her son Zion Brown is on the cover. She says he and some of the other men in the picture were murdered.
It hurts my heart, like, to see my son on there as a joke.
Brown's mother is outraged. She feels like the local rappers are glorifying these murders by putting the victims' faces on the album cover. It's unclear if the rappers are directly linked to these murders.
Now, in response to the uproar in the community over this cover, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office began to look much harder at Queso and the people around him. And eventually, this extra attention would lead to some arrests, but not for quite some time. And so, the violence in the street would continue, as did the disrespect for the ops on social media. And even with all the added attention of the authorities and